Hare Krishna. Welcome to the lockdown program with Krishna under the umbrella of Govardhan Hill. Today we are reading and discussing the most beautiful Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Welcome Dharm, Hare Krishna. Samir, welcome. Rashmi Mataji, welcome. Dharm, welcome. Here is link for the chat. And we would like to invite Rashmi Mataji to give us the first reading of the verse. 1:6:29. Rashmi Mataji.
Can I do the other verses? Because I'm just finishing something off. So my book is upstairs.
Okay, no problem. Samir, what about you? 1:6:29.
1:6:29. Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well. Good sound quality.
Okay.
Well done.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Kalpata idam adya sayani mabhasya udavatya sisasur anupranam vivasya nitar aham vibhu. Translation and the purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. At the end of the millennium, when the personality of Godhead, Lord Narayan, lay down within the water of devastation, Brahma began to enter into him, along with all creative elements, and I also entered through his breathing. Purport. Narad is known as the son of Brahma, as Lord Krishna is known as the son of Vasudeva. The personality of Godhead and his liberated devotees like Narad appear in the material world by the same process. As it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, the birth activities of the Lord are all transcendental. Therefore, according to authorized opinion, the birth of Narad as the son of Brahma is also transcendental pastime. His appearance and disappearance are practically on the same level as that of the Lord. The Lord and his devotees are therefore simultaneously one and different as spiritual entities. They belong to the same category of transcendence.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Say a few words about it.
Okay, so it's just talking about the devastation. And at that time, Brahma also enters, and also Narad is saying, I'm also entered through his breathing. And it's just talking about transcendental pastimes of the Lord and his devotees. So the transcendental pastimes of Brahma and Narad, they are all transcendental. So they are on the spiritual platform rather than on the material platform. And the last sentence says that the Lord and his devotees are therefore simultaneously one and different as spiritual entities. They belong to the same category of transcendence.
Hare Krishna. So, what is exactly happening? What? Narada is entering into who?
He's entering into Mahavishnu.
Yes. The translation says here, when personality of Godhead, Lord Narayan laid down within the waters of the devastation. So Narayan, of course, that is Vishnu. That in this case, that is Mahavishnu. So he's entering into the Mahavishnu, who's laying in the waters of devastation. Normally we say in the causal ocean or the Karana ocean. Here it is explained in the waters of devastation, because at the end of Brahma's day, when we're talking here about the end of Brahma's day, then everything is destroyed. Everything. What is everything, Samir, or Rashmi, or Dharma? What gets destroyed? It's not the total destruction, it's a partial destruction. Total destruction is after Lord Brahma's life. After Lord Brahma's day, there is a partial destruction. So what is destroyed? That is important, because the earth is certainly destroyed, but what else? What about Svarga? If we happen to...
It's also saying Brahma began to enter into him as well.
Yes,
So
because that is Lord Brahma's night.
Yeah, so this is total
Or we're talking about the total devastation at the end of Lord Brahma's life.
Yeah.
Sorry, Prabhuji. So, what is your question? That
verse we're just discussing is discussing the total devastation at the end of Lord Brahma's life, or the partial? It must be the total devastation if Lord Brahma is entering into Mahavishnu.
It must be total. Yeah.
Because a partial devastation, Lord Brahma is just going to sleep. And what is partially destroyed? What is destroyed in the partial devastation after Lord Brahma's
partial destruction, isn't that the night of Brahma?
Yes, but what is destroyed?
Everything below Brahma Loka is destroyed.
That's right. That's the right answer. Anything below Brahma Loka, including the heavenly planets, including Svarga, including Indraloka, and all of that.
So Prabhuji, when this happens, partial destruction, so another Indra is appointed then?
Another Indra is, I would think so, yes, sir.
And then that Indra, so he's finished his tenure.
Yep.
So what happens to that Indra of that particular kalpa?
I would think so. He's going back home to Godhead. He's a devotee after all. He has done his service.
But Prabhuji, I thought the demigods, when a living entity gets elevated to heavenly kingdoms, they come down again, no? So won't Indra come down?
They don't have to come down. They don't have to come down.
Oh, they don't have to come down. Okay.
No, but if they develop further in the heavenly planets and not just enjoying themselves there, then they can go higher up. And the sages as well as describe that when the partial devastation is about to happen, then those rishis and others who have been living on Mahaloka, Tapaloka, these are very elevated planets, they're above Svarga. It's nicely explained in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So what they do? They're not going downwards, they're going upwards, they're going before the devastation takes place at Brahma's end of Brahma's days, they're going to Brahmaloka. And then they're staying in Brahmaloka. And when Brahma's life, and that's a very long time, And when Brahma's life comes to an end for the total destruction, which we're talking of in this verse, then these sages, they're going to the spiritual world. So, after how many years is that total destruction actually happening? Any numbers? Anyone? Any idea or approximate numbers? Rashmi, Samir, Dharm?
Is it 432,000 multiplied by 100?
Yes, I guess so. It is 4 billion. 432,000,000,000. So 4,320,000,000 years. That is the day. That's a day of Brahma. It's not the life of Brahma. It's a day of Brahma. Now you calculate the day, you calculate times 2 the night, times 12 the year, times 100 years of Brahma's life, and then you come into 311,040,000,000,000 years. This is the lifespan of Lord Brahma. Okay, back to the verse. Or are there any questions? There should be a question. Srila Prabhupada says, as it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, the births and activities of the Lord are all transcendental. Any idea at what verse is Srila Prabhupada hinting here? It's difficult. There are so many verses to choose from. No, I don't know. We'll have to find out later on. Someone has to find out which verse is that applicable. Okay, if there are no questions, let's go to our next verse. That is 30. Rashmi, are you ready? Text 30. That gives us more.
Yes, Prabhuji, I can do it.
Details. Okay.
It is number 30.
Yes.
Is it the one starting as with Jnananam?
No. It is text 30 of the 6th chapter of the first canto, Sahasra Yuga.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong chapter only. Sorry.
In the wrong chapter. 6th chapter we are.
The one starting Sahasra Yuga Paryante.
That is 1630, yes.
Yeah. Sahasra Yuga Paryante Utyadhema Shishrik Sataha Maharishi Mishra Rishyaya Pranebhyoham Cha Jagnire. After, I can't say that number, Prabhuji, 4,300,000,000 solar years, when Brahma awoke to create.
That is billion, Rashmi. Million means 6 zeros. Huh?
And
so we have
is
300 million. And what is before that, that is a billion. So 4,300,000,000.
4,300,000,000. 9 zeros.
Yes.
No, 8 zeros. 4,300,000,000 solar years, when Brahma awoke to create again by the will of the Lord. All the rishis like Maharishi, Angira, Atri, and so on were created from the transcendental body of the Lord. And I also appeared along with them. The duration of a day in the life of Brahma is 4,320,000,000 solar years. This is stated also in the Bhagavad Gita. So for this period, Brahmājī rests in yoga-nidrā within the body of the Garbhodakshai Vishnu, the generator of Brahma. Thus, after the sleeping period of Brahma, when there is again creation by the will of the Lord, through the agency of Brahma, when there is again creation of the Lord creation by the will of the Lord through the agency of Brahma, all the great rishis again appear from different parts of the transcendental body, and Narad also appears. This means that Narad appears in the same transcendental body, just as a man awakes from sleep in the same body. Sri Narad is eternally free to move in all parts of the transcendental and material creations of the Almighty. He appears and disappears in his own transcendental body, which is without distinction of body and soul, unlike conditioned beings.
Okay, what are we hearing here?
So
what are we talking about?
So here Narad is saying that after the total destruction, when again creation starts and Brahma is created from the Garbhodakshai Vishnu's navel.
I think now we're speaking, and I'm not sure if the previous verse also spoke of that, but now we surely speak about the day of Brahma and not the life of Brahma. Because
so this is not about... so you're talking about... We are talking about the day and night of Brahma. They are not talking about destruction.
Well, there's also destruction after the day of Brahma. And the night.
Okay, so we are talking about that partial. So this verse is saying that when Brahma wakes up from his sleep,
yes,
which will be of that 320 million solar years, that will be his sleep also. So once he wakes up from that sleep, then during his sleep, he is sleeping in the body of the Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And then again, he comes out of his sleep and again starts to create because the Lord wants him to do the creation again. So he creates the material world. So when this happens, that again the material world is being created, at that time, all the rishis, all these great rishis, including Narad, are also created. But these great rishis and Narad and all, they don't get a new body every time. They are still being created they have a spiritual body. So they get the same body in every creation. Narad will look like Narad and Narad will behave like Narad. That's what I understood from this. That
yes.
They will...
First of all, Narad is in a transcendental body. There is no question. I'm not so sure about Marichi, Angira, and Atri. It just says, the Bhagavatam says that they were created from the transcendental body of the Lord. So that we're speaking about a day of Brahma becomes quite clear when Srila Prabhupada writes, Brahma rests in yoga-nidrā within the body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So I'm still quite thinking the previous verse could also relate not to the total devastation, but to the partial devastation. We'll have to scrutinize it a little bit more. But here, when Brahma he rests in yoga-nidrā within the body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So it's not that Brahma rests in his bed in Brahma Loka, in his palace or something, what one might want to think. He is actually resting within the body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. That's his resting place. And all the other the sages, the great sages as well, and Narada. But Narada definitely has a spiritual body.
Prabhuji, so Mahavishnu has already breathed out all the universes, and in all the universes, the Garbhodakshai Vishnu is expansion, as one expansion of Mahavishnu, which is Garbhodakshai Vishnu is going. And then from the Garbhodakshai Vishnu, Brahma is going to sleep in his body, and then again and again springing out from his navel. That's what you're saying.
Let's not forget each time Brahma takes birth on the navel of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. It looks like, I'm not entirely certain, these are all technicalities, but quite important. It looks like that after Brahma's night, no, it couldn't be that he appears on the lotus. That is Brahma's life. Samir, you want to say something? What do you understand?
Yeah, I was just going to say 2 points there. I think the first point was total devastation, but now it's talking about partial. And also, each universe has a different Brahma as well, which
that we know.
Remember.
That we know. Each universe has a different Brahma.
Mm.
And you probably quite right. The previous verse talked about the total devastation, and this talks about the partial devastation.
Yes. The one I read was total devastation because they're saying that Brahma is entering there as well. He's entering into Vishnu. So
well, but that is also the case here. Here, Srila Prabhupada is right. So for this period, Brahmājī rests in the yoga-nidrā within the body of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. So he's also entering Vishnu while he's sleeping at night. But not in Mahavishnu, in Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. But this, it is from the verse and the purport, it's not entirely clear, except one really scrutinizes a little bit more or researching a little bit. I will find that out. What is, but that is new to me, that Brahma rests within the body of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu during his night, which is another 4,320,000,000 years, because his day and his night are equally long. So he must rest somewhere at night. We all resting somewhere, but we don't rest in Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, but we rest in our bed in Leicester. But Brahma, he takes rest, yoga-nidrā, which is mystical sleep within Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. Okay, what else? I shall find out more detail about that. Any more question? Dharm, any question? Comments?
No.
Okay.
I have a question. So Narad had died in this. This is his new body, na?
Spiritual body. When Narada was living with his mother and the sages came by, and when he heard the Lord appeared, and he heard the voice of the Lord, that was his material body, yes. And then he died, and then he got a spiritual body. It has been previously, verses has explained, it's just like in a lightning flash. As soon as his material body was given up, his spiritual body was already there.
So then he got this Narad body.
Yes, which is a spiritual body, an eternal body. And he can travel wherever he wants to travel, in the material world or in the spiritual world.
But he is an eternal associate of the Lord, right?
Yes, he is.
He's eternal. He's not like Brahma, who will get destroyed at total destruction.
Brahma doesn't have a spiritual body. Brahma has a material body.
Okay, yes.
Brahma is a Jiva. Jiva means like we are all Jivas, but Brahma is the most pious Jiva in the entire universe. We may claim we are the most pious person in our household, in Leicester, in the country, in the continent maybe, but Brahma is the most pious personality within the entire universe. Of all the planets, millions and billions of planets. So, Brahma is a Jiva, But Narada was a Jiva, but he got awarded a spiritual body by his strengths of devotional service. That's important too, because we can also receive a spiritual body just like Narada. And when we have a spiritual body, we can also travel and appear wherever we want. And it's not we going to Vaikuntha and then we stuck in Vaikuntha and we cannot go anywhere else. No. Narada is sometimes in Vaikuntha, Narada is sometimes in Goloka. So the eternally liberated souls, they're free to travel. They can be going to Vaikuntha and they can go to Goloka. And they come into this material world in various pastimes. Okay, let's move on. Dharma, you want to read text 31?
Yeah, okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Antrabahiska Lokantrin Parami Aktandin Varata Anugrahan Maya Vishnu Avita Kari Vijaya. A translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Sri Prabhupada.
Best is also Samir. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada or A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah, so
that is a full title.
So His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Yes, that would be fine. Perfect.
Yeah, okay. Translation. Since then, by the grace of the Almighty Vishnu, I travel everywhere without restriction, both in the transcendental world and in the three divisions of the material world. This is because I am fixed in the broken devotional service of the Lord. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, there are three divisions of the material spheres, namely the Urdhva Loka, which means the topmost planets, the Madhya Loka, which is the midway planets, and the Adya Loka, which is the downward planets. Beyond the Urdhva Loka planets, that is to say, above Brahmaloka, are the material coverings of the universes. And above that is the spiritual sky, which is unlimited in expansion, containing unlimited, self-illuminated Vaikuntha planets inhabited by God Himself, along with His associates, who are all eternally liberated living entities. Narada Muni could enter all these planets in both the material and the spiritual spheres without restriction, as much as the Almighty Lord is free to move personally in any part of His creation. In the material world, the living entities are influenced by three material modes of nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. But Shri Narada Muni is transcendental to all these material modes, and thus he can travel everywhere unrestricted. He is a liberated spaceman. The causeless mercy of Lord Vishnu is unparalleled, and such mercy is perceived by the devotees only by the grace of the Lord. Therefore, the devotees never fall, but the materialists, i.e. the fruitary workers and the speculative philosophers, do fall down, being forced by their respective modes of nature. The rishis, as above mentioned, cannot enter into the transcendental world like Narada. This fact is disclosed in the Narasimha Purana. Rishis like Marchichi are authorities in fruitive work, and rishis like Sanaka and Santana are authorities in philosophical speculations. But Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Muni is the prime authority for transcendental devotion. For transcendental devotional service of the Lord. All great authorities in devotional service of the Lord follow in the footsteps of Narada Muni in the order of the Narada Bhakti Sutra. And therefore all devotees of the Lord are unhesitantly qualified to enter into the kingdom of God, Vaikuntha.
Okay, say a few words.
Okay. The material universe, right at the beginning, mentions it's divided into 3 realms, the topmost, the middle, and the downward planets. But beyond the topmost planet,
what are the topmost planets? Just below Brahmaloka.
The topmost planet in the spiritual world is Goloka. But then you've got the heavenly planets.
Heavenly planets, Svargaloka, right?
Yeah.
What is above? Dharma. What was the last thing you said?
Okay, so the Vaikuntha planets, there's more than one planet, and the top planet in the Vaikuntha planet is Goloka Vrindavan.
Yes.
So those are the Vaikuntha planets, but below that, then you have the, I don't know, is it Svataloka, the Brahmaloka, the topmost kind of heavenly planets.
There are planets called Mahaloka and Tapoloka, which great sages inhabited. The Munis, all explained in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So that is just below Brahmaloka. And as explained before, once a partial devastation takes place, then they quickly go to Brahmaloka to escape the devastation. So, yes, okay, what else can be said to this? So it appears like, here Srila Prabhupada writes, the rishis, as above mentioned, cannot enter into the transcendental world like Narada. That means they don't have a spiritual body. Answers this question.
So the 4 Kumaras, they are the Gyan yogis, Gyan yogis. So they are not transcendental. That means
the 4 Kumaras.
That is what is mentioned, no? In this verse. Those 2 Kumaras, only 2's name is mentioned.
Can you read that section again?
It said that Rishi like Maharishi are authorities in fruitive work, and Rishis like Sanak and Sanatan are authorities in philosophical speculation. So that means
that doesn't say anything about if they can enter this world or not. It just says they're authorities on a particular topic.
No, but the line above says the Rishis, as above mentioned, cannot enter into the transcendental world like Narad. So the paragraph starts like that the devotees never fall down, but the fruitive workers, speculative, all of that fall down. Rishis, as above mentioned, cannot enter into transcendental world like Narad. This fact is disclosed in Nrsimha Puran. Rishis like Maharishi is authoritative in fruitive work, and Rishi like Sanak and Sanatan are philosophical speculation. But
Rishis, yes, if it says Rishis, then that is correct.
So even the four Kumaras, that mean are jivas like us, but very elevated jivas.
Yes. Samir.
They're not the four Kumaras, though, are they?
Sanaka and Sanatan. Well, who are they else?
They're the rishis, but they're not the four Kumaras. The four Kumaras are devotees. So devotees are...
Well, the devotees, that doesn't make... there are many devotees. That doesn't make... That is not the criteria. But here we're speaking about rishis like Sanaka and Sanatan. These are just two names of the four Kumaras. I have never heard of any other rishis.
They are rishis, but I don't think they're the four Kumaras, are they?
Well, who they are then?
I don't know. I think they're just the rishis. They're not the four Kumaras.
What do you mean, just the rishis?
I don't know, but they're not the four Kumaras.
How you know?
But Samir Bhai, the four Kumaras, they are they are Gyan yogis, and which fits in with this verse. Say the four huh?
Yes, it would fit in.
So
I'm not too sure about that.
It doesn't matter. I mean, I have never heard the four Kumaras living in Vaikuntha, nor have I heard the four Kumaras appearing in Goloka. They visited the Lord at the gate of Vaikuntha and in Vaikuntha, but I'm not aware of any pastimes of them staying there. In fact, they came down to propagate the Nimbakacharya line. That is another point that could be researched a little bit more, but I'm pretty certain that there are no other rishis called Sanaka and Sanatan. Maybe, okay, we'll find out.
Yeah, because I'm sure they were. They have the transcendental form.
Okay, maybe we hear a little bit more as we read further. Okay, what else? What's a Narada Bhakti Sutra? We have a translation. Narada Bhakti Sutra is available. That is written by Narada Muni. About Bhakti, the name says it already, Narada Bhakti Sutra. But here is a very nice message of hope. All the great authorities in the devotional service of the Lord follow in the footsteps of Narada Muni, in the order of the Narada Bhakti Sutra, and therefore all the devotees of the Lord are unhesitatingly qualified to enter into the kingdom of God, Vaikuntha. It's even underlined, unhesitatingly. So, yes, we are all meant, at least for Vaikuntha. But we have to stick to the process, of course. So, let's go on. Text 32. Rashmi, yes?
Prabhuji, I heard today in Bhagavatam class about a similar something. So it said about Prabhupada was explaining the meaning of Chyut and Achyuta. So Achyuta means somebody, well, not somebody, only the Lord who does not fall down.
Yep.
He does, and we are Achyuta, and the Lord is Achyuta. And the Lord's lineage is called Achyuta Gotra. So Mataji explained that when a jiva takes to the sadhana bhakti, and he progresses, and he finally takes initiation from the spiritual master. So why that initiation is important? Because then that initiation will make him enter into the same gotra as the spiritual master and Krishna, which is the same gotra as Narad. She told the full lineage upwards, downwards, that full coming down from Krishna to ultimately Madhavendra Puri and so on and so forth, right down. So she says you directly enter. Yeah, the parampara. So she was trying to explain that when you become initiated, then you enter into that family. And then once you enter higher and higher, you go up, then you will get you get spiritual body. You become, when you're ready for entering into the Vraj Leela.
Okay, yes, of course. But my question would be to you, how does that initiation take place? You said when one is initiated into the gotra, into the parampara. How does it happen?
I didn't understand, Prabhuji. You mean...
Because you said when one is initiated, into the gotra. But how is one initiated?
She was talking about formal initiation, like the fire. You're taking a vow in front of a fire and the importance of that fire. And all the Vaishnavas are assembled there and all of that. She was explaining what is the importance of all that. So she was
yes.
talking about the formal,
Yeah, but that is not, that's not a fact. Said only by formal initiation one can enter into the gotra.
Oh, okay.
We spoke about that many times.
Yeah. I didn't know you can enter even if you are not initiated.
No, you initiated informally. Initiated you have to be. We read so many quotes. How is someone initiated? At one point, Srila Prabhupada said, just by reading my books, you're initiated. Your determination, that is your initiation. The formal, that is just my touch to it. Hundreds of quotes. So it's not that only by formal initiation we enter into the gotra. How can 7 billion people on this planet be formally initiated by 200 formal initiation gurus? The math doesn't work. It just means there is not enough mercy to go around. So it's not working like that. It can be there for a selected few, but that is not ultimately the only path. So many quotes. How one can. I mean, this very quote, your determination in Krishna consciousness, that's your initiation. That's quite a significant statement. But sometimes stress is given by some devotees only on the formal initiation. And everybody else of the 7 billion people are missing out. Because I think everybody agrees that 7 billion people cannot be initiated by 200-300 formal gurus who give initiation. That's not possible. Not even 1 billion. Not even 500 million. Not even 1 million, probably. So, Krishna's mercy is not flowing in that way, but it is actually flowing by someone taking that process of bhakti very seriously. Your determination to preach this Krishna consciousness, that is your initiation. By reading my books, you are initiated. But I would not suggest necessarily to bring that up to Mataji. She may argue with you. Hare Krishna. But yes, there is a nice story in this connection. Devotees in India, they told Srila Prabhupada, people are asking us, what's your gotra? We are Westerners, we don't come from a gotra anywhere. Then Srila Prabhupada said, just tell them, Achyuta gotra or Achintya gotra. Anybody asking any of the devotees, gotra, Achyuta gotra. That's Krishna's gotra, Krishna's family. You have any more questions? Your hand is up, Rashmi.
No, Prabhuji, I forgot to take it down.
Hare Krishna. Anything else? Let's move on. It's back to you, Rashmi. Text 32.
Text 32. Deva dattam imam vinam svara brahma vibhushitam murchyatva harikatham gayamanas And thus, translation, and thus I travel, constantly singing the transcendental message of the glories of the Lord, vibrating this instrument called a veena, which is charged with transcendental sound and which was given to me by Lord Krishna. The musical stringed instrument called the veena, which was handed to Narad by Lord Sri Krishna, as described in the Linga Puran, and this is confirmed by Srila Jiva Goswami. This transcendental instrument is identical with Lord Krishna and Narad because all of them are of the same transcendental category. Sound vibrated by the instrument cannot be material, and therefore the glories and pastimes which are broadcast by the instrument of Narad are also transcendental, without a tinge of material inability. The 7 singing meters, namely Sa, Ra, Ga, Ma, Pa, Dha, Ni, are all transcendental and specifically meant for transcendental songs. As a pure devotee of the Lord, Sri Narad Dev is always fulfilling his obligation to the Lord for his gift of the instrument. And thus he is always engaged in singing his transcendental glories and is therefore infallible in his exalted position. Following in the footsteps of Sri Narad Muni, a self-realized soul in the material world should also properly use the sound meters, namely Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, etc., in the service of the Lord by constantly singing the glories of the Lord as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita.
Hare Krishna, say a few words.
So this is here Lord Narad, not Lord Narad, Narad Rishi is telling Vyasadeva.
Narad Muni, yes.
Narad Muni is telling Vyasadeva that the instrument called Veena, which he carries and moves in all the universes, that was actually Lord Krishna's gift to him. And because it is given by Krishna, it is transcendental. Narad is transcendental body, that instrument is transcendental, the sound emanating from that is also transcendental.
What's that sound?
Huh?
What's that sound? What's that? Sa?
Sa, Re, Ga, Ma. That? Is that what you're asking, Prabhuji?
Yes, this is musical notes. Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, Pa, Da, Ni.
Sa. Yeah. They are the singing meters, yeah.
Yes,
oh, so they are also transcendental. Okay, and so Srila Prabhupada is saying that like Narad, we should also use these meters to make transcendental sound, for transcendental singing the glories. We should use these meters for singing the glories of the Lord.
Yes, very nice. Yes. Just see, even the musical system is transcendental, huh? Because these notes are meant Sarigama Badanita Bhamagari Sa. These are meant for glorifying the Lord. In a previous verse we have heard also that all music, all poetry, all writing, all art should all be used in the glorification of the Lord. So certainly the musical sounds, Sisari Pada Gamani, that stands for C, D, E, F, G, A, B, or Do, Le, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Si. Different musical systems, the same thing. So, anything else? Any question? Samir? Your microphone was on for short or not, maybe not. Oh, here's the quote regarding initiation I spoke about. Here is actually a direct quote. If you have understood this Krishna philosophy And if you have decided that you will take Krishna consciousness seriously, that's important, to be serious. That's very important. And preach the philosophy to others, of course. That is your initiation. So here Srila Prabhupada clarifies what is initiation. To get formal initiation does not even guarantee. One may take formal initiation out of whatever reasons, just to fit in with the other devotees, just because of peer pressure, of social reasons, of this or that. One may take formal initiation, but not taking this Krishna consciousness seriously and not preaching the philosophy to others. Does that mean just by the formality of a fire, of the mantra, of some vows, that one is joining the Gotra? Obviously not. That is just an external manifestation, a formality. What the change in the heart, that is important. That is not formality. That's a bhakti. That's our connection with Krishna. That is our connection with the Gotra. Formal, acknowledged or not. So here, Srila Prabhupada says, my touch is simply a formality. So even with Srila Prabhupada's touch, to preach his philosophy to us and take it seriously, he says that is your initiation. My touch is simply a formality. It is your determination that is initiation. So that's a real initiation. Our inwardly motivation and our insight, change of heart. And then it may be touched by a spiritual master when Srila Prabhupada is not around, by any of the initiating gurus. That formality, that is formality. That touch, that may be there, that may not be there. So that was that. So here is the famous conversation. Dharma Krishna Maharaj says, can a Christian in this age without a spiritual master, but by reading the Bible and following Jesus' words, reach the... Srila Prabhupada interrupted. When you read the Bible, you follow the spiritual master. How can you say without? As soon as you read the Bible, that means you are following the instructions of Lord Jesus Christ. That means that you are following the spiritual master. So where is the opportunity to be without a spiritual master? Then Matutusha says, I was referring to a living spiritual master, means a spiritually present spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada answers, spiritual master is no question of, what he means to say, no question of living or dead. Spiritual master is eternal. So your question is, without spiritual master, you cannot be at any stage of your life. So that's important. So we stress. It's not that you without spiritual master until you get formal initiation. That means Srila Prabhupada has been without spiritual master for a long time. Since he met his spiritual master Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, and when he got formal initiation much later, I don't know, 10 years or whatever, I don't remember, later. So that means Srila Prabhupada has been without initiation until he got the formal initiation? Of course not. Srila Prabhupada himself says that when he accepted Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati by his first meeting, when he accepted him as spiritual master within his heart, that was his initiation. So formalities that was done years later. So here Srila Prabhupada says, you may accept this spiritual master or that spiritual master. That's a different thing, but you have to accept. As you say, that by reading Bible, when you read Bible, that means you are following the spiritual master, represented by some priest or some clergy in the line of Lord Jesus Christ. That was a room conversation in 75. So these things are important. There are hundreds of these quotes. Otherwise it would mean unless you get the formal initiation, you don't have a spiritual master. It means Samir, Rashmi, Dham, you don't have a spiritual master. How can it be? You have accepted Srila Prabhupada in your heart. Or Rashmi, you say, I'm acting as your Shiksha Guru. So, that is important. The spiritual master in the heart. Srila Prabhupada also says, or writes actually, a Diksha Guru may not always be available. In this case, one should take shelter of a Shiksha Guru. A Guru must always be there. But Shiksha Guru, Diksha Gurus, different functionality, but Guru is one. So that is important. So certainly when he says a Diksha Guru may not always be available, a Diksha Guru has to be on the highest spiritual level, liberated soul, first of all. And may not always be available, certainly may not be available for a billion people. For some people, it's just impossible to get formal initiation. And may not be necessary, the formality, but we want to see formality, everything we want to see and touch, and without formality, we feel that's not the real thing. But that is due to our so much focused on the external. But if the facility is there, anyone here, if we want the formality as well, then what is we have accepted in our heart as a spiritual master, then that is available. But then we have to come to the standard of 16 rounds, 4 regulative principles, Bhakti Shastri course, recommendation, and so on. Lots of hoops to jump through. But that is available for anybody. For anybody, unless we, in the meantime, we just accept Shiksha Guru. We can all accept Srila Prabhupada as our Shiksha Guru. Where's the difficulty? Guru is Guru. And in fact, it says that GBC is a governing body commission in ISKCON. They're saying Srila Prabhupada is preeminently the Shiksha Guru of all members in ISKCON. Everybody has a right to connect directly with Srila Prabhupada, so with Shiksha. That's what we're doing. We're reading his books. Simple. Okay. I'm sure this topic will come up again and again. But don't argue with Mataji about that, Rashmi. If you find a way of asking her or whatever, maybe. So let's go 32. Samir.
I think it's 33, isn't it?
Is it 33?
Yeah.
Yes.
Pragyata svaviryani trita pada priyasre srava ahat eva me shigram darshanam yati chetasi. Translation. The Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, whose glories and activities are pleasing to hear, at once appears on the seat of my heart, as if called for, as soon as I begin to chant his holy names, activities. The absolute personality of Godhead is not different from his transcendental name, form, pastimes, and sound vibrations thereof. As soon as a pure devotee engages himself in the pure devotional service of hearing, chanting, and remembering the name, fame, and activities of the Lord, at once he becomes visible to the transcendental eyes of the pure devotee by reflecting himself on the mirror of the heart by spiritual television. Therefore, the pure devotee who is related with the Lord in loving transcendental service can experience the presence of the Lord at every moment. It is natural psychology in every individual case that a person likes to hear and enjoy his personal glories enumerated by others. That is a natural instinct, and the Lord, being also an individual personality like others, is not an exception to the psychology, because psychological characteristics visible in the individual souls are but reflections of the same psychology, the absolute Lord. The only difference is that the Lord is the greatest personality of all and the absolute in all his affairs. If therefore the Lord is attracted by the pure devotee's chanting of his glories, there is nothing astonishing. Since he is absolute, he can appear himself in the picture of his glorification. The two things being identical, Srila Narad chants the glorification of the Lord, not for his personal benefit, but because the glorification are identical with the Lord. Srila Narad chants the glorification of the Lord not for his personal benefit, but because the glorification are identical with the Lord. Narad Muni penetrates into the presence of the Lord by the transcendental chanting.
Okay, can you summarize?
I think it's saying that, as we said before, that the Lord's name and the Lord is none different, and by chanting the Lord's name, the Lord is appearing in the heart. And it says the mirror of the heart by spiritual television. It's quite nice. Not Prabhupada's written there.
Of the pure devotees, that needs to be qualified. As soon as a pure devotee engages himself in the pure devotional service, then the Lord appears in front of him, or in the mirror of the heart.
Yeah.
That's a qualification.
So,
be a pure devotee.
Pure devotee, yeah.
What else? I thought it was very nice. Srila Prabhupada makes a point. The Lord, like we, likes to hear himself glorified. That's beautiful, isn't it? Lord likes to be glorified, especially by his pure devotees. When they sing his glories and chant his name, then he's very pleased.
Actually, Prabhuji, that's true. We, when our grandparents or somebody tells us, "Oh, when you were young, you used to do this," so we like to hear. We want to be. I remember I keep on telling my father even now. So tell me something. So I want to hear what used to happen in my childhood.
Yes, everybody likes to hear himself glorified or praised. If we say, "Oh, that Sanskrit shloka, that was very nicely pronounced. That was perfect pronunciation." Oh, it makes us feel good, isn't it? Yes, that is natural psychology. But the point is really, whatever exists in this material world has its origin in Krishna. So this psychological fact that we like to hear about ourselves, or in a positive way. So it's that original desire is coming from Krishna. And with everything else as well. That whatever is there in this material world has its origin in Krishna. What else? Any other questions or comments? If not, we're taking one more shloka, 34, and that is going to Dharma. It's our last shloka for tonight. And Rashmi, prepare yourself. You're going to sing the singer prayers after that.
Etadya torochinanam matras beschastia murohu bhava sindhu plavo dristu hari chinanam murava nam nam. Translation. His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. It is personally experienced by me that those who are always full of cares and anxieties due to desiring contact of the senses with the objects can cross the ocean of neuroscience on a most suitable boat, the constant chanting of the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. The symptom of a living being is that he cannot remain silent even for some time. He must be doing something, thinking of something, or talking about something. Generally, the materialistic men think and discuss about subjects which satisfy their senses. These things are exercised under the influence of the external illusionary energy. Such sensual activities do not actually give them any satisfaction. On the contrary, they become full with cares and anxieties. This is called Maya, or what is not. That which cannot give them satisfaction is accepted as an object for satisfaction. So Narada Muni, by his personal experience, says that satisfaction for such frustrated beings engaged in sense gratification is to chant always the activities of the Lord. The point is that the subject matter only should be changed. No one can check the thinking activities of a living being, nor the feeling, willing, or working processes. But if one wants actual happiness, one must change the subject matter only. Instead of talking about the politics of a dying man, one might discuss the politics administered by the Lord himself. Instead of relishing activities of the cinema artists, one can turn his attention to the activities of the Lord with his eternal associates, like the gopis and Lakshmis. The mighty personality of Godhead, by his causeless mercy, descends to the earth and manifests activities almost on the line of the worldly men, but at the same time extraordinarily, because he is almighty. He does so far for the benefit of all conditioned souls, so that they can turn their attention to transcendence. By doing so, the conditioned soul will gradually be promoted to the transcendental position and easily cross the ocean of neuroscience, the source of all miseries. This is stated from personal experience by such an authority as Sri Narada Muni. And we can have the same experience also if we begin to follow in the footsteps of the great sage, the dearmost devotee of the Lord.
Okay, thank you, Dharma. Say something about that verse.
It's generally talking about the processes of man, his mind when he's thinking. And it's saying dovetail your thinking. It's okay to think, because people can't stop thinking, because they can't stay still. So instead of maybe thinking on mundane matter, for example, going to the cinema or thinking about what the latest movie is, maybe you should change your just the subtlety of thinking, really. Instead of thinking about the plot of a movie, maybe you could think about the activities of the Lord instead. So those transcendental qualities or activities. So it's a question of just dovetailing your activity to make space or fill that thinking space with the activities of the Lord. So it mentions at the conclusion of the paragraph that that was the personal experience. If it was an experience of such an authority as a great sage, so you can follow in the same footsteps, and it's not beyond your ability. So any jiva tattva can aspire for that. So it's not impossible. And a good example is sages as Narada Muni. I think that's essentially it.
Thank you. Thank you. Dovetailing is a very nice word. As you said, Dharma, and as Srila Prabhupada says here, we cannot stop thinking, feeling, and willing the activities of the mind. We cannot stop the activities of the body. We are always busy doing something. We're talking in so many ways. That we cannot stop. But the object of our thinking, feeling, and willing, that needs to be changed. Instead of being focused on material objects, or the external energy of the Lord, that thinking, feeling, and willing needs to be focused on the spiritual energy. We have that choice as devotees, so everybody has that choice to focus on the internal energy of the Lord rather than the external energy. And the external energy will not give us satisfaction, or at least not long-lasting satisfaction, only for a short time, and not even complete satisfaction. We have given that example many, many times before. If we would get complete satisfaction from the material objects we focus on, either by touch, by smell, by sight, by taste, whichever, then we would not need any further objects, contacting objects of sense gratification, because we are completely satisfied. But it doesn't work. We know that. Even so, we are promised eternal happiness if you buy this product or so on. But these are just promises which are not coming to fulfillment at all. But on the other hand, if we focus on the Krishna's internal energy, in the widest sense, dovetailing, then we get actually complete satisfaction. Rashmi, question.
I have a question, Prabhuji, related to this. So, we constantly hear that in all Srila Prabhupada's lectures and all the Bhagavad Gita puppets and everywhere, again and again, Krishna is telling Arjuna that we must control our senses. We have to control our senses. So we have to use our mind and intelligence and control the senses. So just practically, so I have a query which happened today. So one of my friends, medical college friends, they sent me some Hindi movie songs, and they told me they're very beautiful songs. They're very nice songs. And then they told me that give us feedback. Give us your feedback. What you never give us any feedback about these songs, because most of the time I don't listen to these songs. So I never give feedback. So then what I did was I thought about listening, but then something I thought, no, I know what they will be. They will be all romantic songs. They will be very beautiful, no doubt, because they really sing beautifully. The words and all are very beautiful and meaningful and everything. And it's all love. It's all about, the songs are all romantic, about talking about love or separation or something like that from your lover. So, but I felt, no, I should not do it, because what's the point? And I deleted it. Then I deleted it. And then I thought, actually, what am I doing? Why am I trying to...
by deleting it, you just missed the preaching opportunity.
No, I don't want to preach to them, Prabhuji. There's no point. No, Prabhuji, there is no point in preaching to them. There's no point. I will not preach to... I rather not preach rather than hear anything offensive. So then I deleted it. And then I thought, actually, why am I deleting? That means, what is this fear in me? That, am I doing the right thing by deleting? Am I running away from something? Because I don't want to run away from anything. The desires in our heart will always be there. They have to, like you said, they have to be dovetailed towards Krishna. So by running away from those sense objects, so those sense objects, for the sense organ here is my ear, and the sense object is those romantic songs. So by running away from them, am I doing the right thing? I'm not really doing the right thing, because I'm artificially trying to suppress something.
So you answered your question yourself.
No, I've not answered. So my question is, what was right? Should I have just listened and then, okay, fine, it's nice music, finish off? Oh. Or I deleted what I think what I did was wrong, but then I don't know what is right, what is wrong.
Artificially controlling the senses doesn't work. That is for sure. Like we going out in this world, and because we are attracted by the objects of the senses, we're putting a blindfold on our eyes. That doesn't work. Example, Brahmācāris complained at the early days. The ladies, Mataji's, they were chanting in the temple room along with the Brahmācāris. They had their own little corner where they were chanting together. And then the Brahmācāris went to Srila Prabhupada and said, Mataji's distracting us in our chanting. Can they not chant in the corridor? Of course, the corridors were cold. It wasn't the winter and so on. So what did Srila Prabhupada tell them? Oh, yes, the women should chant somewhere else that the Brahmācāris won't be affected. No, Srila Prabhupada said, if the Brahmācāris are affected and agitated, they should go and chant in the forest. Yeah, so we cannot artificially run away, and by quickly deleting it so we don't have to deal with it, that might sound like we're running away. So running away is not the solution. We need to get so much attracted to spiritual topics that even while if we spiritually become strong, these Brahmācāris, if they become spiritually strong, they will see these women as mothers, not as objects of sense gratification or becoming disturbed by them. In any other ways, the same way too, if we are attracted by the objects of the senses in this world, running away won't work. We have to just become spiritually strong. We have to become spiritually so infused with Krishna consciousness that it's just like, we explained many times, it's like a switch in the mind. if we can turn this switch, the Krishna switch, in the mind, we can turn, then suddenly that object for our senses, which was so desirable, and we running after her, suddenly it's not desirable anymore. It's just become very mundane. So that switch within the mind needs to be switched off. Of course, that doesn't mean that we should indulge in Hindi songs. I'll give you one example. When Srila Prabhupada came up the stairs from his walk with an Indian gentleman, and they spoke together. And there were devotees around. And the man said, "Oh, that was such a beautiful sunset." And he spoke quite some mundane, well, not mundane nature, such a beautiful sunset. So Srila Prabhupada said, "Yes, that's Krishna's sunset." And then he said something else. "This is beautiful. This was beautiful." And Srila Prabhupada counted back. "That is Krishna's. That's Krishna's sunset. That's Krishna's this. That's Krishna's that." And the man didn't get it. And your friends will probably not get it. But, I mean, this Bollywood beautiful singing. Krishna gave this voice for beautiful singing. And love songs and separation. Krishna is the origin of love and separation. And the devotees feel that mood of separation towards Krishna. And all this romanticism, which everybody in this world runs after, that's Krishna's original romanticism. So if we can link it all with Krishna, then we are protected. We are not attracted by the object of the senses. The switch in the mind has been flipped over. And preaching to them, yes, you might think that is not, of course not, but certainly not, you shouldn't be attracted by this, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't, that will definitely not work. But in my work, might work, if you would say, yes, this romance is found between Krishna and the gopis, but of course they don't understand. They will think Krishna and the gopis are just like this film actor, romance with that film actor. Okay, Samir.
Yes, I heard a very nice class, and what they're talking about is the impressions in the mind. And if they were saying that, you know, we have all these different impressions of the mind, and if we give those impressions colors, for example, so if we got the mode of passion, mode of ignorance, and mode of goodness, say the mode of passion is red, the mode of goodness is, say, green, and the mode of ignorance can be black.
Okay.
When we start to chant, that spot can be white, for example. And the more we chant, the more we take the Lord's name, those impressions then start to be covered up. And the chanting, the mode of chanting is the transcendental mode. So we're going to have those colors there initially, but the more we chant, the more those colors start going away and being replaced by the white spots. So all these different colored spots are going to be there for a while, but we must carry on chanting. And the more we chant, the more we chant, the more we chant, then the more that it becomes whiter and whiter, and those different other colors are going away. And then, like you were saying, Prabhu, that switch then comes through, and we have to have. I was just reading as well, and it was saying that you must get to the stage where the material world is totally distasteful to you. And that's when you know that you are on the transcendental mode, where when you have all the material world is distasteful to you. But we cannot just like you were saying before as well. We cannot just switch it off forcefully. It has to be replaced with a higher taste, and that higher taste is obviously the transcendental mode, the holy name, devotional service. That's what we have to substitute it for.
Yes, we have to be very careful. That was a nice comment. Thank you. Samir, you can put your hand down, and Rashmi, you can put your hand down, except you have a question. If you keep your hand up, then it becomes very confusing. If you actually have a genuine question, or if you forgot to put your hand down. You forgot. All right, okay. There is a danger, particularly at the beginning of our Krishna consciousness. We become fanatical. Fanaticism is found in every religion. Not only religion, in everything. People become fanatics. Or we become a bit fanatic. So what does it mean to become a bit fanatic? We have our faith is, let's say, fanatic in Krishna consciousness. Our faith is not firmly and well established. As soon as we hear something contrary to what we have been absorbing in Krishna consciousness, our faith is a bit shaken, and then our reaction will be fanatic. We demonize that other opinion or whatever it is, because that is just to defend our little faith, right? We have to build walls around that faith, and everybody gets a cold treatment or an angry response. So that tendency is there. Why? Because of our relatively little faith in Krishna and the process of devotional service. So we have to defend that. But as our faith matures and becomes bigger and bigger, we don't need to do that. We become a mature devotee. Our faith is so unshakingly established, like we said before, like lines on a stone. Nothing can eradicate it. We don't need to build walls. We don't need to blast any opposite understanding on any opposite opinions. We don't need to. And the danger is there when we, in that fanatical space, the danger is there. We normally love Bollywood movies. And now we have become a little Krishna conscious. And then I hate Bollywood movies. So hate and love. But hate is as much attachment to the Bollywood movies as love. It's just the opposite side of the same coin. So really, it may help us in the short run a little bit. Someone was saying, better to be a little bit fanatic than to lose. There is some truth in it, but really the point is our faith has to mature in Krishna consciousness, in the process of devotional service, that nothing will, we don't feel an attack on our faith, because our faith is so strong, it's so big, it's huge, that nothing can disturb it. So we neither love Bollywood movies, nor do we hate Bollywood movies. We just, it's not even a distaste for material sense gratification. It's just an indifference. It's not something we feel attracted to. It's not something for us. We feel compassionate to those who are attracted to it. So that is just a few thoughts on this? Was a good question, Rashmi. So what you should have done, well, what we have talked on that topic, that will give you some idea what is best to delete it, this message, because you're not interested in. That's one thing. But you delete it because you think when you look at it, you will become attached to it. That's another thing. You know what I mean? If we quickly delete it before there is a chance I could get attracted to it.
That's why I deleted it, Prabhuji, because the reason is I don't want to get. See, I watch movies. I don't have no problem, but I watch nonsense stuff, which there is nothing there. I watch all comedy stuff and very light stuff. I don't watch anything intense, like anything where your senses
get excited.
I watch very very light stuff. But this was because they had already forewarned me that what sort of songs they are. So I thought, okay, let me just delete it. Why should I go in the direction where I don't want to go actually?
No, you shouldn't go in this direction. And if it's rather, if you watch it and you getting pulled in this direction, it's better to delete it.
And actually, Prabhuji, now by experience, I know what happiness can all this friendships, relationships, what love, what happiness can they give? Nothing. 1 minute they are there, next minute they are gone.
Yes.
So I don't want also that. I want something permanent now.
Yes, that is Krishna.
But at the same time, that worry is there that, okay, this I might get, drawn somewhere else. Because I'm very, like you said, I'm very beginning, Prabhuji. I'm very, very beginning.
We are all very beginning. So, yes, that is certainly valid. But the point is, we have to mature. So quicker, so better. And we don't have to watch stuff which has a hold on our mind. And like we don't purposely going into association which will taking association for material-minded people. But if you see in this example the Bollywood movies, as you just said, with the eye of knowledge, that helps. Because people forget when they're getting absorbed in the Bollywood or any movie, when they're getting absorbed, they forget completely. This is all temporary stuff. You see, that is your Krishna consciousness. That has to be solid and always. Once you confronted with a Bollywood movie, and I mean, it's all temporary stuff. Why? Of course, we don't want to waste our time with that. Our time is very valuable. But with that knowledge, it's just some temporary. One moment it's there, one moment it's gone. Why should I excite my senses? I don't have actually any time for this. That's a big, big point. We don't have any time to waste in this sense gratificatory. These things, these movies and these songs, and that is made purposely. It's made in such a way to appeal to our emotions and to forget Krishna. It's meant to forget Krishna. Srila Prabhupada was in an airplane and with some devotees traveling to some country, some continent, like always on the move. And they played a movie. And the devotees thought, oh no, right in front of us. They played a movie. So they were kind of putting their hand over their eyes and looking downward. It was a Charlie Chaplin movie. And then suddenly they heard Srila Prabhupada laugh. Srila Prabhupada watched that movie. And he was laughing. So Srila Prabhupada wasn't attracted to the movie. He could appreciate the humor. Krishna's humor. Krishna is humor. He saw Krishna in everything. So we need to see Krishna in everything. As soon as we see Krishna, just as you described her, oh, it's all temporary anyway. That is Krishna. That is a realization. As soon as that is there, we're not attracted anymore, are we? But of course, it doesn't mean we should end as a tiger's mouth and we don't know what's going to happen. No, that's the beginning. We should keep away from these things, or not putting ourselves into vulnerable positions. For sure.
So basically being alert.
Yes, very good. That's a word, alert. Being alert at every moment. So here in this verse, just to take it a bit further, twice it is said, in the translation it is said, one can cross the ocean of nations on the most suitable boat, so constant chanting. Constant. We have come across that many times. How many times it is mentioned, constant chanting in all of Srila Prabhupada's writings? Hundreds of times. Constant, continuously, always. So a little bit later in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, such being engaged in sense gratification, the context, by this personal experience, says that satisfaction for such frustrated beings engaged in sense gratification is to chant always the activities of the Lord. So constant, and then the word is used always. So to that we have to come. Constant and always chanting. That can be achieved, that can be done. Sometimes we are more successful, sometimes we're less successful. But that is really the way. So we're struggling with 4 rounds, with 8 rounds, or to speak of 16 rounds. And here we are asked to constantly chant. I want to relate, just to finish off the evening. I had an extremely, very interesting waking up this morning. And I don't know why, it's not always like that. But I woke up and I was chanting. Or did that chanting will wake me up? I became conscious and I was Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. It was amazing. It was a very good start of the day. I was waking up and chanting. So that we have to aim for that, to constantly chant. And why not? Constantly chanting is just like breathing. So our constant chanting we have to breathe. Even in the night when we're sleeping. The other description of the devotee is that chanting while they're sleeping. Now that is very nice. Constant chanting. But for us, becoming a stepping stone to come to continuous or constant or always chanting, a stepping stone is, okay, I'll set myself 8 rounds every day, minimum, out of duty. So we manage that and then, okay, why not 12? Why not 16? And we come to 16 and we get accustomed to that. And from 16, why not chant in my spare time without the beats? I'm just driving the car. I have a choice, putting some news on, putting some music on. So why not just chant? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Or I go shopping. I walk on the street. Why not chant? Oh, people around. Okay, I chant very softly. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. In fact, you will, my experience, people become very friendly out of a different funny reason. People become very friendly in greeting you right, left, and center. Why? Because you're driving with a car slowly and looking at people and people greeting. And then I realize, oh, because I'm chanting Hare Krishna, Hare, my lips are moving. So thinking I'm saying, oh, hello, good morning, good afternoon. People responding accordingly and being very friendly. But they don't know. You're just chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Oh, that is a bit funny. But yes, why not using just chanting alone? And if that is not possible in an environment, then we're just chanting in our mind. But chanting should be there. It should be increased. to 16 rounds and then to constant chanting. Again, not formally. Formally, we chant 16 rounds on our beats. That should be there. That gives the basis from where we can develop constant chanting. So 16 rounds, Srila Prabhupada never gave up his formal chanting. But do you think Srila Prabhupada stopped chanting in the day? Whenever there was an opportunity, he was chanting. And whenever there was an opportunity and there was nothing particular going on, he just took his beats and was chanting also. But we are engaged in so many other activities of constant chanting. Not formally, but just with our lips and tongue. Or within the mind. So that gives us a connection to Krishna. That's all what this verse is talking about. Our connection with Krishna. Constantly. Now, how difficult it is to see Krishna everywhere. But if we constantly chanting Hare Krishna, it is not difficult to see Krishna everywhere. And Krishna will like that, to hear his name glorified. If a devotee constantly chanting Hare Krishna, he will be very attracted. And then we are totally in the hands of Krishna. We're putting ourselves in the hands of Krishna. He can do with us whatever he likes. And he will reciprocate. He'll reciprocate with everything. Okay, here we stop. Hare Krishna. So now I would like to ask, we're running late. It's a Wednesday, not a Saturday. We'd like to ask Rashmi to just chant us and sing a prayers for protection of all the many Jiva souls who are struggling so hard. I've been reading here and there something, and people have just horrible experiences, horrible and painful. One lady was writing, just the other day, my son died of COVID. I mean, the children shouldn't die before the parents, really. 35-year-old son. So, and you could see in her writing what a painful experience it was. So there are a lot of people who are going through very, very painful experiences. So let's chant the Lord's, Nrsimhadev's glorious prayers, and we wish for the protection of all these people throughout the world, 7 billion of them, that somehow or other their pain, there's so much pain around, so much pain, not just COVID, anything else, natural disasters, this, that this pain might be mitigated in some ways. Of course, as devotees, if something like that happens, it is mitigated by our strength of devotional service and our knowledge of Krishna. We won't suffer like someone in ignorance. Just imagine someone is ripped out of your life, someone you had affection for, loving sentiments, exchanges. So these are very painful times in every person. Some people never get over that. Actually, some people never get over that. So, Rashmi, the Nrsimhadev prayers. The microphone is all yours.
Sorry, Prabhuji, say that again. What did you say?
Just kartals or harmonium, whichever, or nothing. Just clapping.
Prabhuji, I have not practiced.
You have not forgotten the words of Nrsimhadev prayers?
Okay, Prabhuji. I will just clap then.
That's okay.
And I might not even remember the verses, but I'll try.
Okay.
Namaste Narasimhaya Aladaladaine Hiranya Kashipurvaya Vakshaha Shilatangkanakalaye Ito nashimo Parato nashimo Yato yato yami tato nashimo Bahir nashimo Hridaye nashimo Narsimamadim Sharanam Prapade Tava Kara Kamala Vare Nakamatutra Shinga Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jaya Narsinghadev Jaya Narsinghadev Jaya Narsinghadev Jaya Narsinghadev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Narahari Jaya Narahari Jaya Narahari Jaya Narahari Jaya Vrindavan Dham Jaya Vrindavan Dham Jaya Vrindavan Dham Jaya Vrindavan Dham Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nrsimha Bhagwan ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai.
Hare Krishna, how beautiful was that? Thank you very much. And most merciful, wonderful Lord, even if you're fearing you might forget the word, He puts a word into your mouth right on the spot when it's needed. That is like the Digvijaya, Saraswati Mataji, Saraswati Devi. She has been right on His tongue. So when we chant, Krishna we have to have confidence. Krishna will be on our tongue and the words will just come on the tongue at the right moment. So, nothing forgotten. Very nice, very nice. Just clapping, very simple. Thank you for that. So, just before we finish, quick question. I heard from Dharm, he will offer, we have just a few days till Sunday, 4 days, and then the Lord will make His wonderful appearance. By the way, tomorrow is Ekadashi, Amalaki Vrata Ekadashi. And if you need to know the breakfast time for the day after, which is at between 5:52, that is sunrise, and 10, 4 minutes after 10. So you only break your Ekadashi fast, eat some grain after sunrise, but make sure it's before 10 o'clock. You have usually a breakfast at 9 o'clock or something, perhaps. So eat some little piece of grain, possible. So I have been informed also that Dharm will offer the 108 names of Lord Chaitanya on his appearance day, next Sunday, for glorification. Rashmi does a quiz. Rashmi, I have actually done 2 videos. One in glorification is called Chant, with a slideshow, with a video slideshow, and for Lord Chaitanya, which is glorifying the preaching pastime of the Lord. And the other one, it just reminds me, you chanted, oh, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Yes, the other one is about the internal activities of the Lord, to taste the nectar of the gopis' love, of the pastime. So the second, a bit longer video is very much about Vrindavan. And I think, Rashmi, you will really like that. And you will probably ask me to get a copy of that, which is not difficult to supply. So I have done 2 videos. Rashmi is doing the quiz. Ben is doing Gora Arti and translation. Dharm is doing 108 names of Nrsingadev. Samir, any thoughts? Samir, are you there?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Sorry.
You had any thoughts so far?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe I might read one pastimes or something, one of the Leela.
One pastime of Lord Chaitanya.
Yes.
Yes, that would be nice. From Chaitanya Charitamrita or from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. You have access to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam?
No, I don't, because I don't have everything here, so maybe I can go. I will go from Chaitanya Charita.
Yes, great. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam has pure pastimes. There is no philosophy there. It's just pure pastimes. And Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, you just Google Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Huh?
Oh, I just Google it, right?
Oh, yeah. And then you will, it comes from a reputable source. I can...
It is, Prabhuji, all these books, because I don't have when I didn't have Chaitanya Charitamrita, now you gave me Adi Leela first volume. Then Prabhupada books, if you Google prabhupadbooks.com, and in that you put all the books which are written by Prabhupada are there. So if
Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is not written by Prabhupada.
Oh, he's not translated it? Oh.
No, that is later on, Gopi the disciples of Srila Prabhupada have translated that. And Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Vrindavan Das Thakur, even if you Google that, I'm sure you're getting it from a reputable source. I have not heard of a bogus copy of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. I don't think that does exist. There are different translations slightly, but let's see if I can send you something, Zamir. Probably have.
Yeah, please, probably.
Somewhere. So if you want the pure pastimes, then Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam would be very easy to find something really, really nice.
Prabhuji, also, if you have any, I have made 8 questions. My 9th question, I can't ask because I was going to ask the different names. So I don't have, if 8 questions, if you think is not enough, then you can contribute some questions, some quiz questions.
No, that's your project. 8 question is fine, huh? Just make sure at least 4 are relatively easy and have some harder ones there as well.
Yeah, like
a good mix.
They are all questions which will really let's say somebody is very, very new. They will not be able to answer, but any of them. Like very, very new. But there is nobody
I don't think anybody is here very, very new. Everybody has a pretty good understanding. You know what everybody's understanding is.
Yeah.
And then you have your question accordingly. But make some harder ones as well, just to push it a little bit.
Yeah, there are some little hard ones. Okay.
Okay, so great. And Pandavan Bhagavati Mataji are preparing the puppet show. And
Prabhuji, I will make some bread for the devotees and I will offer it. So then once you have picked up the prasad from Varshana Mataji's house, and then if you came to my house, then...
now it becomes very complicated. Because listen, I'm going to Varshana, no, I'm starting going to Pandava Prabhu, huh? And he is making some samosas for the devotees. Huh? So I'm picking up the samosas from Pandava Prabhu. And then I go to Varshana Mataji, picking up her prasadam. Huh? and then I go probably to you and to Ben, and at the end going back to Pandava Prabhu to give him Vashana Prasadam. Now, if you also make some Prasadam, and Pandava makes some Prasadam, and perhaps even Samir makes some Prasadam, then I'll have to travel a lot.
No, Prabhuji, you do it according to your plan. Whoever's house is left after you have picked up from my house, that house you give the bread. So you will be left.
That is nice. That is nice. Probably the last house will be Ben. I will come up with a schedule.
So yeah, so Ben will get it. Pandava Prabhu will get it because, and you will get it. So at least 3 devotees will get it.
Yeah, Amit will pick it up from Vashana directly, or it sounded like he wants to get out of it. Maybe he will not pick it up at all. Even so, she would just give us. Yes.
We don't have to give to. Yeah, we'll skip, and you can skip Varshana Mataji also because anyway she does not eat the bread. Skip in the sense you don't have to.
What about me?
What about
Samir
you?
Prabhu, you're sitting in Africa.
No, you book a flight. I come.
And I know Samir Prabhu's contribution. He has to bring cashew nuts.
Bring what? Bring what?
Samir Prabhu will give all the people who win the quiz cashew nuts.
Oh yeah, that would be very nice. But he's not
Cashew
anymore.
nuts,
He's not anymore in the cashew business. But I'm sure
oh,
he
is
has.
He not? Oh no!
I'm sure he has. He'll give you some food grains. But I'm sure he has access to cashew nuts.
Yes.
Oh.
I will send pictures. I will send you pictures.
Yes, that will be something. Yeah. So tell me again who I have to go to. I go to Pandava. It's just more or less city center. Go to Pandava, pick up some samosas from there. Then I go Vashana Mataji, pick up her prasadam, and then I go you.
Yeah.
Because that is on the way as well. And from you, then you get Vashana Mataji's and you will get the samosas, and then I will go Ben, and then I will go back to Pandava, and that's it? Or is there anybody else?
Nobody else. That's it. Everybody else is away. Yeah, everybody else is like Samir Bhai is not here. Amit is not here. Then
Amit will. He said he.
Dham is not here. Then
he's in Birmingham. Yes. So, okay. That's manageable. That is not too bad. Yeah?
You'll have to start early, but Prabhuji, by at least 4:00.
Yeah.
Yes,
I was
wish
going to
so.
say, because Varshana was saying that it will be ready by 5, but
yes, I don't agree with that. I push her. We want 4:00, not 5. It's too late.
Yeah, 4:00. Yeah.
Because our program also, we have so many things. Then our program will also take a little bit longer. Na? It will not finish by 9:00 as usual.
Yeah.
Probably not.
So then, and Samir is in Africa. So his timing and all that.
Yes, he's getting very late for him. No, we want to start by 7. We want to start by 7 and finish by 9. Like usual.
Prabhuji, the clocks go forward on Sunday, an hour, isn't it?
When is that?
Yeah.
The clocks go forward 1 hour.
When?
Sunday?
28.
Huh?
28.
So Sunday, when we wake up in the morning, the clocks would have gone forward. Is that what you're saying, Dham?
Yeah, it goes forward 1 hour on Sunday.
Oh.
Well, in the morning, Saturday night. Well, Sunday morning at 1:00. I think it goes forward.
So are you saying, if it's Sunday morning, 9:00, it's actually 10:00?
Yes.
No. It goes.
Right now, according to our time right now, if 9:00 on Sunday is actually 10. When is the change happening? Yeah. Sunday midnight or Saturday midnight?
Saturday midnight.
Okay, so Sunday will be summertime.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sunday will be summertime. Okay,
essentially, when you get up, it's just 1 hour. When you get up in the morning, if you get up at 9 or 8, whenever you get up, it's 1 hour forward. So if you usually get up at 9:00, it'll be 10.
Yes. Okay. So we're losing 1 hour, really.
You're losing 1 hour, and the mobiles will do it automatically. Your
Yeah.
mobiles, right?
And we are living by the mobile clock anyway, so we won't even feel it.
Yeah. It's good for me because our clocks don't change. So it does mean that we start a bit earlier, 1 hour earlier.
Oh, that is very good for you. That is very good because it doesn't run so later. What you said, you 3 hours?
We're 3 hours at the moment, so it's really 12:15 now here.
Oh, right.
So,
Krishna.
But,
12:15. You better go to sleep. You're doing a big yagya every Wednesday and Saturday. That is your determination for hearing Krishna Katha and becoming Krishna conscious. I'm sure Krishna is witnessing that and will act accordingly. He will bless you for that. Okay. Anything else? No.
Sorry, just about the Ekadasi tomorrow. It's from sunrise on the 25th to sunrise.
Ekadashi is always sunrise.
Yeah, so it's sunrise on the 25th to sunrise on the 26th. Do you have to stay up overnight if you have to, or if it's within your capability?
It is depending on your capability. If you want to stay up all night, not just stay up all night and watching movies or something, stay up all night and chant Hare Krishna or read and chant or something like that. That is, and fasting tomorrow from sunrise up till sunrise the next morning. That would be the first class Ekadashi performance, very potent. But if you have a busy schedule and you have to go to work and like that, the minimum is no grains like bread, rice, dal. No grains, no pulses means dal, no dal. No grains, no pulses, no beans. So no quickly a tin of beans on the toast or something that is not. So just no grains, beans and pulses.
So remaining awake throughout the night, praying or worshipping or chanting the mantra in any form of worship.
Yes. Anything in relating to Krishna.
Oh, okay.
Of course, if you are 5-6 devotees together or whatever, then you do just bhajan all night long. That's ideal. You're just chanting all night long. Beautiful. Chanting all night long, taking turns. Or if you have enough of chanting, then you just read in between. So, but there's also something in between. If you don't want to do the full fast and stay awake all night long, and if you cannot fast fully, but you can just want to do more than just no grains, no beans, no pulses, then just eat fruit. Just eat fruit. But it's allowed. You have some. What I usually do on Ekadashi, I got some from the organic shop, and it lasts me quite a long time. I get some buckwheat. It's a big one, big buckwheat. And I just cook the buckwheat khichdi, like I do instead of rice. Vegetables and buckwheat. It's actually beautiful. It is so tasty. It's so good that I want to get actually 25 kilo of buckwheat and take it much more often, regularly.
Prabhuji, have you finished all the buckwheat which I gave you?
There is a little bit left. But that's a different buckwheat. That is a very fine buckwheat. It's very difficult to cook with that, actually.
It's cooked in the same way, Prabhuji, because mine is finished now. But I cooked it in the same way, made khichdi out of it. And like you said, it turned out very tasty.
Yes, absolutely. Buckwheat is
But
beautiful.
I'm not getting buckwheat. I've ordered some from Amazon now.
Buckwheat is also very healthy. There's a health food shop down on Dysart Way, just where old Sainsbury was, just around the corner. They have buckwheat, organic and non-organic, and reasonably priced. That's where I get my buckwheat from. Nice little shop, organic shop. Get your buckwheat there. And one pack of buckwheat that lasts for quite a number of ekadashis. Many ekadashis. And buckwheat is very healthy. It may even be more healthy than rice. There you get the big grain buckwheat, Rashmi. Quite big grain. And that is not sticking together or something. It's just very loose. Very, very nice. So that's what I do. Ekadashi means buckwheat khichdi. Simple. Vegetables. Plenty. Many other things. Fruit. Cheese. Paneer, if you like. Yes. Many things.
Prabhuji, I'll take your leave now.
Yes. It's getting late and Samir already dropped to bed.
Hare
Thank you very
Krishna.
much. Hare Krishna.
Hare
See you on Saturday.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Dharm.
Yes, so if I just drink water, that's...
Yes, okay, go ahead. I want to say something after you come back.